Chapter 1. The Phone That Broke Me. The call came while I was heating leftover pasta in my tiny kitchen. My phone buzzed, and I answered without looking. "Ethan, man, listen," Liam said, sounding nervous. "I'm at the building. I just saw Mia walk out of Daniel's office. It's almost midnight." They looked close. My hand froze on the counter. "Close how?" I asked. "Like she wasn't supposed to be there," he replied. "I thought you should know." I felt the room tilt. "Thanks," I whispered. He sighed. "I'm sorry, bro." I ended the call quietly, my stomach twisting like someone was pulling me apart from the inside. I leaned against the counter and whispered, "No, not Mia." I stared at the wall until the tiles blurred. "She said she was at her sister's place." I murmured. "She said she was tired." My voice cracked. I grabbed my jacket and walked outside, needing air more than food. The cold hit me hard, but it didn't clear anything. Why would she do that? I kept asking myself. I replayed her smile, the way she used to say, "Ethan, you overthink everything." Maybe she was right. Maybe I should have overthought this sooner. When I reached my apartment steps, my phone rang again. Liam didn't wait for me to speak. "Don't go there," he said quickly. "Don't confront anything tonight." I swallowed. "You think I can sleep after this?" "No," he said, "but going now will wreck you worse." I sat on the steps. "I trusted her," I said. "I told her things I've never told anyone." He paused. "I know. You love her too much to see danger." I rubbed my face. "She told me Daniel respected me." Liam scoffed. "Daniel respects no one. You know that." The next morning at work felt unreal. I tried focusing on spreadsheets, but every number blurred. Mia walked past my desk, acting normal. "Hey, want coffee?" she asked casually. I stared at her. "Were you at Daniel's office last night?" Her smile changed. "Why would you ask that?" I leaned closer. "Because someone saw you." Her voice lowered. "We were discussing work." "At midnight?" I asked. "He needed help," she insisted. "You're being dramatic." My chest tightened. "I'm being cheated on," I said. She flinched, then looked away. "Ethan, don't do this here." "Why not?" "It happened here," I whispered. Before she could answer, Daniel walked toward us. "Cole, step into my office," he said. I followed him, heart pounding. He closed the door. "We're letting you go," he said flatly. I blinked. "What? What?" "Performance issues," he said. "Fit and finish." I laughed bitterly. "Right? Not because I asked me a question 2 minutes ago." He studied me with a fake, sympathetic expression. "Personal issues shouldn't interfere with work." I stepped forward. "She's my girlfriend." "Your former girlfriend," he corrected softly. "She deserves someone stable." My fist tightened. "You don't get to say that." He walked around the desk and held out a paper. "Sign this and keep things clean." I stared at the paper, then at him. "Did you plan this?" He didn't answer. He just smiled that calm, poisonous smile. "You should leave before you embarrass yourself." I wanted to punch him, scream at him, break something, anything. But I signed, walked out, and didn't look back. When I passed Mia's desk, she whispered, "Ethan, please don't make this harder." I said nothing. Silence was all I had left that wouldn't break me more. Back in my apartment, I dropped the box of my belongings on the floor. "So that's it," I muttered. "A job gone. A girlfriend gone. All in one morning." I paced around the room. "I should have seen this," I kept saying. "I should have known Daniel was the type." I slammed my fist lightly against the wall. "I won't be the broken one," I said. "I refuse." My phone buzzed. It was Liam again. "You home?" he asked. "Yeah." "Want company?" I shook my head. "Not right now." He hesitated. "Don't do anything stupid." "I won't," I said. "But something has to change." That night, I called my mom, hoping her voice would steady me. "Hey, Mom," I said. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" she asked immediately. "You sound tired." I forced a laugh. "Rough day." She sighed. "You always carry too much alone." I swallowed. Maybe I should stop doing that. She paused. "What happened?" "I'll tell you soon," I said. "I just needed to hear you." "I'm here," she said softly. "I always am." After the call, I sat on the floor and stared at the ceiling. "I won't stay down," I told myself. "I won't let them define me." As I drifted towards sleep, one thought cut through everything like a sharp blade. I will become someone Daniel never saw coming. Chapter 2. Counting Small Wins. I walked out of the office holding a cardboard box, and told myself, this is the last time anyone throws me out like trash. Liam met me outside and said, "You want me to punch Daniel? I'll do it." I shook my head. "No, I'm done fighting him on his turf." He clapped my shoulder. "Then build your own." The next morning, I started delivering supplies for a warehouse. The manager tossed me a clipboard. "You good with tight schedules?" I nodded. "Tighter than you think." After 3 hours of hauling boxes, he yelled, "You want a second shift?" I wiped sweat off my forehead. "Yeah, I need everything I can get." At night, I volunteered at a free clinic because I needed a place where I didn't feel like a failure. Dr. Helen Park noticed me wiping down tables. "You don't work here," she said. I replied, "No, ma'am. Just helping out." She tilted her head. "Why?" "Because I'm tired of feeling useless." She smiled slightly. "Then let me teach you how not to be." I laughed. "Is it that easy?" "No," she said, "but you look like someone who listens." During a break, she handed me a mask and asked, "What happened to you?" I shrugged. "Lost my job." She crossed her arms. "You didn't answer my question." I exhaled. "I lost myself a little too." She nodded. "Then let's rebuild something." Later that night, I checked my phone and saw Daniel's newest post. Him holding a wine glass. Mia leaning into him like she belonged there. Liam texted instantly, "Don't look at that garbage." I typed, "Too late." He replied, "Then use it. Get better, not bitter." I stared at the picture until anger burned hotter than sadness. I took on small gigs, moving furniture, packaging, courier routes. Every time someone asked, "You sure you can handle this?" I answered, "Yes," even when my body screamed otherwise. One evening, while picking up a delivery assignment, a woman in a leather jacket pointed at my worn-out boots. "Those things won't make it through the night." I looked up. "Neither will I, but I'm still here." She smirked. "Fair point." 3 days later, I walked into a night business class and found the same woman. She raised an eyebrow. "You again?" I shrugged. Still standing. She stuck out her hand. "Zoe Alvarez." I shook it. "Ethan Cole." She slid into the seat beside me. "What's your deal?" I answered, trying to learn enough to stop getting stepped on. She chuckled. "Good goal. The city doesn't care about feelings. It cares about leverage." During group practice, she watched me struggle with a case study. "You're thinking like an employee," she said. "Think like someone who wants the power to fire his boss." I stared at her. "You don't even know my story." She leaned back. "I don't need to. I can see the look. You want payback and purpose, not in that order." I muttered, "Maybe." She tapped her pen, then stopped surviving and started strategizing. After class, Liam called. "How's the learning life?" I said, "Humbling." He laughed. "Good. Means you're growing." I walked down the street carrying 2 job applications. "I'm tired of scraping by," I admitted. "Then stack wins," he said. "Small ones. As many as you can." So I did. I negotiated my first freelance contract with a small shop. The owner said, "You sure you can handle logistics?" I answered, "Let me prove it." After 1 week, he said, "All right, kid, you're better than you look." I smiled. I get that a lot. At the clinic, Dr. Park watched me label supplies and said, "Your hands don't shake anymore." I looked down. "Guess I'm getting steadier." She added, "You're learning discipline. Pain can teach that." I sighed. "Pain teaches everything these days." She touched my arm. "Only if you let it." Walking home that night, I checked Daniel's stories again. Him, Mia, laughter, sparkling lights, fake smiles. I whispered, "Enjoy it while it lasts." For the first time, the jealousy didn't crush me. It fueled me. Zoe called unexpectedly. "I looked over your assignment," she said. "You think too small. Expand your model." I asked, "You always this blunt?" "Yes," she replied. "And you need blunt." I chuckled. "You might be right." She added, "Get used to hearing uncomfortable truths. They're the only ones that change you." When I hung up, I felt something shift inside me. Small, steady, real. Every delivery, every volunteer shift, every class, every bruise from lifting crates, it all stacked into a quiet momentum. "I'm not reacting anymore," I whispered. "I'm building." And for the first time since everything fell apart, I believed it. Chapter 3: The Sting of Betrayal. I walked into the lobby, hoping the consulting role Daniel mentioned would finally give me stability. When he called me in, He smiled like we were old friends. Ethan, I have a small project for you. A trial run. Show me you still have value. I asked, what's the catch? He laughed softly. No catch. Just prove yourself. For a moment, I actually believed him. 2 days later, he called again. We're going in a different direction, he said. Your name keeps showing up in unpleasant conversations. I frowned. What conversations? He shrugged. Rumors. I can't take risks. I leaned forward. You created those rumors. He smiled with that calm poison. Ethan, your insecurity is exhausting. I walked out before I said something stupid. Later that night, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. It was a screenshot. Mia's name at the top. Daniel's below. Their messages tangled like chains around my chest. He's too emotional. Just keep him calm until we're done. He'll break eventually. My vision went blurry. I whispered, no, she wouldn't say that. Another text came in, a mistake clearly meant for Daniel. He asked about the office night. I think he suspects something. My heartbeat turned into a roar. I called Mia immediately. We need to talk. Now. She hesitated. Can't wait. No, I said. I know. She came to my apartment wearing guilt on her face. Ethan, she began softly, I didn't want you to find out like this. Like what? I snapped. Like the messages? The lies? The nights you said you were tired? She looked down. Daniel made me feel seen. I laughed bitterly. He made you feel expensive. That's what he did. That's not fair, she said. Nothing about this is fair, I replied. You didn't just betray me. You humiliated me. She crossed her arms. I tried to talk to you. You were always stressed, always doubting yourself. So you ran to the man who fired me? He didn't fire you. You lost control. I stared at her. I lost control the moment I trusted you. She looked away again. I didn't want to hurt you. You rehearsed that line, I said. Say something real. She whispered, I'm sorry. I shook my head. No, you're sorry you got caught. She tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. Don't, I said. Just don't. After she left, Liam called. How did it go? It didn't, I said. She's in it with him. He cursed under his breath. You wanted to come over? No, I said. I'm too angry. Then listen, he said firmly. Rage makes you sloppy. Dana would love that. Don't give him the satisfaction. I pressed my forehead against the wall. I want to expose him. Not like this, he said. Not shaking. Not bleeding. You hit when you're calm. I went to the clinic the next morning just to breathe. Dr. Park noticed immediately. Your eyes look heavier than yesterday. I found out the truth, I said quietly. She motioned for me to sit. Tell me. They were working together. Against me. And I didn't see any of it. She folded her hands. Do you want revenge or clarity? I want justice, I said. She nodded. Then you need patience. Strategy. Not emotional explosions. I feel like burning everything down. That's not strength, she said gently. Strength is choosing when to strike. I exhaled. I don't know if I can do that. She looked directly at me. You can. Pain is loud, but it doesn't have to be in charge. On my way home, I replayed Daniel's smirk and Mia's shifting eyes. The betrayal tasted different now. Less like heartbreak and more like infection. I whispered, this isn't just about losing her. It's about losing respect. I sat at my small table and opened my notebook. What does he have? I asked myself aloud. Power, contacts, money. I flipped a page. What do I have? For a moment I wrote nothing. Then slowly I wrote, anger. Time. Nothing left to lose. Liam called again. You breathing? Yes. You thinking straight yet? Straighter, I said. What's the plan? I'm going to learn everything Daniel does, I said. His deals, his shortcuts, his contacts, his enemies. Liam let out a low whistle. You're serious. I'm done being blindsided, I said. If he thinks I'm broken, good. That's the advantage. So you're not exploding tonight? No, I said. I'm studying. Later, I paced the room and whispered to myself. He stole my job. He stole my girlfriend. He thinks he owns the narrative. I clenched my fists. Not anymore. The pain didn't vanish, but it sharpened into something useful. Something cold. Something focused. This time, I told myself, I won't beg. I won't chase. I won't fall apart. I looked at the door Daniel once closed in my face and felt a slow fire rise in my chest. I'm coming for the life he thinks I can't handle, I whispered, and I'll build it with my own hands. That night, my heartbreak didn't break me. It became my blueprint. Chapter 4. Learning the Rules. I walked into the community college classroom with a knot in my stomach. Zoe was already there, tapping her pen against her notebook. "You look nervous," she said. I sat beside her. "I'm not nervous," I lied. She smirked. "Good, because this class chews insecure people alive." I muttered, "Great pep talk." She elbowed me lightly. "Relax. You're here to learn how power works, not to win a trophy." The instructor walked in and slammed a stack of folders on the desk. "Management isn't about charm," he said. "It's about leverage. Who has it, who wants it, and who hides it?" Zoe whispered, "See? Told you." I whispered back, "I'm starting to regret coming." She replied, "Good. Growth hurts." After class, Zoe grabbed my notebook. "Your notes are useless. You're writing definitions. You need to write moves." I frowned. "Moves?" She said. "How people manipulate meetings, push decisions, cut deals. This city is a game. You're still playing it like homework." I took back the notebook. "Then teach me." She blinked. "You actually want that?" I nodded. "Yeah, I'm tired of being outplayed." She sighed. "Fine, but don't waste my time." I started a low-level job in a supply chain warehouse the next week. My supervisor barked, "Move crates, log timestamps, don't ask questions." I said, "I learn by asking." He glared. "Then unlearn it." When he walked off, a quiet voice behind me said, "He hates new people." I turned to see Sophia, a junior analyst holding a tablet. "You must be Ethan," she said. "I saw your name on the roster." I nodded, trying to understand how this place works. She lowered her voice. "Then look at the ledgers. Something doesn't add up." I asked, "What am I looking for?" Sophia replied, "Patterns. Payments that jump, orders that shrink, numbers that smell wrong." I whispered, "Daniel?" She nodded slightly. "His signature shows up in odd places." I felt anger tighten my jaw. "He's everywhere." She said, "People like him leave footprints. You just have to look." Later that evening, I met Dr. Park at the clinic. She waved me into her small office. "You said you wanted to help negotiate our supply contract?" I nodded. "I think you're overpaying." She raised an eyebrow. "And you know this how?" I said, "Because I'm learning how these companies hide fees." She leaned back. "Show me." I walked her through the numbers. She tapped the table. "You're right. This is robbery." I said, "Let me call the rep." She smiled. "Do it. I like this version of you." When the rep answered, I said, "We want new terms." He laughed. "And who are you?" I replied, "The person who knows you're charging them double." Dr. Park covered a smile with her hand. He stuttered, "We can discuss adjustments." I said, "Good. Email them tonight." Outside the clinic, I called Liam. "I just negotiated a contract," I said. He whistled. "Look at you growing fangs." I laughed. "Feels good to make something real happen." He said, "Feels like you're becoming dangerous in a good way." On the bus home, Zoe called. "You skipped study group," she said. "Busy fixing contracts," I replied. She paused. "You actually used the strategy notes?" I said, "All of them." She laughed. "Maybe you're not hopeless." I said, "Maybe I'm tired of losing." She answered, "Good. Then keep showing up." I leaned back and whispered, "I'm learning the rules." And for the first time, the plan forming in my mind wasn't about destruction. It was about building something Daniel could never take from me. Zoe texted again before I reached my stop. "Tomorrow we practice negotiations. No excuses." I typed, "I'll be there." When I stepped off the bus, the night felt different, less heavy, more controlled. I whispered, "Every skill is a weapon." Liam called again and said, "You sound better." I replied, "Because I know what I'm doing now." He said, "Then keep going." I walked toward my building and added softly, "I'm not just chasing revenge anymore. I'm chasing stability." Saying it out loud felt strange but real, and I'm finally starting to believe I can build it. I won't stop until I finally rise. I got the offer over coffee in a glass elevator that smelled like cleaner. Victor Hale slid a card across the table and said, "We need someone who can rebuild without noise." I looked at his name and asked, "Why me?" He smiled without warmth. Because you're the one who will take risks most won't, and because you have nothing left to lose. I felt something tighten. What's the job? I asked. A branch on the brink. Low profile. Low budget. Full access to contracts. He tapped the table. You get authority. You fix it. You make it profitable. Marcus Reed messaged the next day, Mia's brother. Can we talk? He wrote. I answer now. He showed up looking smaller than his photos. I don't defend her, he blurted. But Daniel used her. I leaned against the doorway. Are you saying she was coerced? He looked down. No. She was flattered. She needed to feel seen. Daniel knows how to make people feel chosen. I listened. Do you have proof? He asked. Not yet. I thought of Sophia's face at the warehouse, the way she avoided my eyes. Then help me find it, I said. He agreed to look into calls and dates. Sophia slipped me a USB in a napkin during a late shift. Don't plug this at work, she whispered. It's messy. I held it like contraband. You sure? She nodded. It shows payments rerouted to shell accounts. Daniel's signature is on approvals. My throat went dry. How do you have this? She looked small. I tally entries. I noticed patterns. I couldn't sleep. I said, you risked a lot. She said, someone had to. I thanked her and walked home with something heavy in my pocket. I called Liam. I have something, I said. Maybe more than something. He exhaled. About time. I told him, Victor offered a role. Marcus reached out. Sophia gave files. He went silent for a beat. So what's the plan? We don't explode, I said. We rebuild quietly. We make the branch indispensable. Then we hold the proof until Daniel's partners cannot ignore the trail. He barked a laugh. You're patient. I said, patient and precise. At the clinic, Dr. Park looked at the USB and said, we must be careful. Going public will hurt the people who rely on us. I met her eyes. I won't ruin the clinic, Helen. She tapped the table. Then use strategy. Use leverage. Not headlines. I promised her. She added, make sure whoever helps you can protect the innocent. I said, Sophia is already terrified. We need to shield her. She nodded. Victor handed me keys to the branch like permission to breathe. You'll have full authority, he said. No interference unless you ask. I walked the empty office with Zoe behind me. You've taken quiet places before, she said. This one smells like neglect. I rub my hands. We start with clients. Secure them. Give them reasons to stay. Zoe raised an eyebrow. And the trap. I told her, we build value here first. Then when partners ask questions, we show the ledger. We let them follow the trail. Work filled the days. I negotiated contracts with shaking hands at first. We can offer volume discounts and faster delivery, I told a hesitant client. He mulled it, then shook my hand. Fine. We'll try you. When I secured another clinic's account, I felt the plan move. Money flowed in slowly, and with it came credibility. Marcus stopped by once and said, I wish Mia would talk to me. I said, maybe she needs time. He looked at me hard. If anything happens to her, I'm sorry. I told him, keep me in the loop. Sophia kept sending files. Each one tightened the noose. I learned to read a ledger like a map. Daniel's fake approvals were sloppy in different ways. Fonts, date shifts. Each inconsistency was a small victory. Dr. Park reminded me to keep the clinic out of headlines. People's care is more important than vindication, she said. I repeated it like a mantra. One night, Zoe caught me staring at Daniel's photo pinned in a file. You're not the only one fighting ghosts, she said. You can bury him or build past him. I swallowed. I want both, maybe. She looked at me with a hard softness. Make sure the trap does not become the thing you live for, she warned. Don't let revenge be your only architecture. I nodded. I also started keeping a folder of every contract change, every call log, every invoice. Liam came by one night and said, this is meticulous. I smiled. Someone should do the boring work. He nodded. Boring wins more than drama. We laughed once, brief and honest, and then went back to work, the kind of work that builds empires slowly. The branch grew steadier. Clients stopped leaving. Sophia's files stayed hidden. Marcus called occasionally with small updates about Mia. Victor watched from his high glass corner, saying little. Every night, I told myself, this is patience. This is leverage. The waiting felt less like punishment and more like preparation. When I locked the office that night, I whispered to the empty room, build it clean, build it strong, then let him fall on his own proofs. The voice that answered in my head was mine, harsher, quieter, and ready. I will persist. Chapter 6, Lines I Crossed. I taped the meeting without telling anyone. The room smelled like coffee and Daniel's cologne. He said, we need faster payouts. A rep argued, we need proof to lower margin. I hit record under the table and whispered, listen. Zoe's voice echoed in my head, don't become him. I considered stopping the tape, then thought of why I started. After, the rep left and Daniel leaned back. Route this through Holloway, he said. No questions. I kept my face calm. That's risky, I said. His smile thinned. Risk makes profit. I walked out with a plan, not a tantrum. Victor called it flexibility. I called it bait. At a diner, Marcus pushed his coffee and asked, you sure we shouldn't go public? I said, if we do, clinics suffer. He frowned. So you hide. I shrugged. I build proof, then let partners follow the trail. He said, just don't lose yourself. Zoe found out about the recording. She slammed the door. You taped them. I admitted it. Why? She demanded. I needed something solid. She slammed a file on the table. You sound like him. Her voice cracked. I thought you were different. I said I am. She laughed once raw. Secrets breed the same monsters. She left the team for a week. I felt alone. Liam called nightly. You okay? He asked. Fine, I lied. He said, winning hollowly won't fix nights. I asked what fixes them. He said, truth without poison. I answered, that's the plan. He warned, don't forget who you are. Sophia stayed and brought me ledgers. You shouldn't have recorded, she whispered. I nodded. I know. She tapped entries. If this takes Daniel down, people suffer less. Her voice was small and fierce. I'm tired of quiet. I told her, thank you. She blinked. Just be careful. Clients started drifting. I called a clinic. We can offer faster delivery, I said. The manager replied, send a proposal. Small wins stacked like coins in my pocket. Then rumors hit. Someone posted whispers about me stealing leads. The old fear returned. On the roof, Zoe found me watching the city. She sat down without touching. Are you sorry? She asked. I said, I don't know. She said, I'm afraid to love someone fighting ghosts. Her words hit harder than I expected. I said, I fight for better. She warned, don't build from ghosts. Daniel pushed back. An associate threatened Victor's branch. A text warned, careful what you build. I showed Liam. He scowled. He's scared. I said, good. He warned, he'll hit where it hurts. I thought of Sophia, Marcus, Dr. Park. Then protect them, I said. I forged a careful invoice trail to bait Daniel. Names, amounts, dates, down to fonts. I asked Sophia to check formatting. She squinted and said, this will pass casual eyes. Her hand brushed mine. For a moment, I was not a strategist. I was a man grateful for touch. The cost was heavy. People I cared about felt whispers. Zoe left for a week, and my chest ached in her absence. Liam said, if you win, what then? I pictured a fair company, clinic supported, wages paid. I'll stop, I said. I'll build honest. He warned, mean it. Clients kept signing. Daniel's calls grew terse. My hands shook reading emails, then steadied when a client chose our branch. The plan worked technically. Daniel's network frayed. But the victory tasted thin when Sophia asked quietly, do you sleep? I lied sometimes. She said, sleep is a compass. I wondered if I still had one. At night, I told myself, I crossed lines to protect people, not to become a monster. Zoe returned and looked at me with cautious eyes. Check your hands, she said. I clenched them and found ink on my fingers, ledger marks, and something darker. I swallowed. I can still stop, I said. She studied me. Then stop for them, not for you. The stakes rose. I kept building, balancing on a tight edge between justice and the man I was fighting. Each small win brought new danger. I whispered into the dark. I won't let him win by making me like him. I will choose right, no matter the human cost. Thought for 50 SIXS. Chapter 7. Collapse and Counterstrike. I knew something was wrong the moment Victor stormed into my office. "You need to see this," he said, tossing a printed memo onto my desk. My heart dropped when I saw my name beside the word embezzlement. "He forged this," I whispered. Victor nodded. "Daniel wants you off the board. Clients already saw it." I opened my inbox and watched cancellation emails stack like falling bricks. "We just rebuilt this branch," I muttered. Victor said, "Then fight smart." When I stepped outside, Liam called. "Bro, what is going on? People are saying you stole money." I rubbed my face. "Daniel forged a memo." Liam cursed. "You want me to go to him?" I snapped, "No. That's what he wants. Chaos." He sighed, then breathed. "You're slipping." I tried. I really did. But then my mom called. "Ethan, honey, I saw something online," she said gently. "Are you okay?" Shame crawled up my throat. "I'm fine, Mom." She sighed. "You don't sound fine." I shut my eyes. "I will be," she whispered. "Please don't carry this alone." I swallowed hard. "I won't." But I thought of quitting that night. Thought of packing everything and leaving the city behind. I told myself, "You tried. You built something. Maybe that's enough." Then Sophia knocked on my door, holding a folder. "Don't quit," she said. "Not yet." I opened the folder and saw email threads, payments, routing IDs. "What is this?" I asked. She pointed. "A shell company. Holloway Holdings. Daniel routed money there for years. This ties to him, not you." My lungs expanded for the first time all day. "Sophia, this is the missing link." She nodded. "Use it wisely." The next morning, Victor's voice shook with controlled fury. "This is huge," he said, flipping through the emails. "We push for a formal inquiry today." I nodded. "Do it." Zoe stepped in with a stack of client messages. "We lost 4 more accounts," she said. "People are scared." I said, "Then we give them a reason not to be." She leaned closer. "You look wrecked," I whispered. "I'm tired of protecting myself from ghosts." She touched my arm, then stopped fighting alone. Before the inquiry began, I called a reporter I trusted. "I'm not giving you everything," I said. "Just enough to force the truth out." She asked, "You sure you don't want to burn him?" I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. "I want accountability, not a spectacle." She said, "Send the documents. I'll handle the rest." By noon, the city buzzed. Articles questioned Daniel's spending, his network, his sudden silence. Liam called again. "Dude, you're trending." I groaned. "Kill me." He laughed. "No chance. You're surviving this." I said, "I hope so." Mia disappeared from Daniel's social feed. No photos, no captions, no smiling faces. I texted her once. No response. Then twice. Nothing. Anger mixed with something I hated admitting. Fear for her. I drove to her apartment and found her car gone. I tracked her through places we used to go and finally spotted her in a dim parking lot behind an old bakery. "Mia," I called. She froze. When she turned around, her face looked fragile, tired. "Ethan, don't," she said. "I'm not here to fight," I replied. "I just need answers." She hugged her arms. "Everything's falling apart." I stepped closer. "Did you know what Daniel was doing?" She hesitated. "Not at first." Then, "I didn't want to see it." My voice shook. "You helped him destroy me." She whispered, "I'm sorry." I shook my head. "I don't need sorry. I need truth." She wiped her face. "He told me you were dangerous, jealous, unstable." I believed him because it was easier. I felt it like a stab. "You believe the man who stole everything from me?" She whispered. I was scared. "He made me feel safe." I said, "At my expense." She couldn't look at me. "I lost myself," she said. "I know that doesn't fix anything." I whispered, "It doesn't." She said, "But I'm trying to get out." I stepped back. "Good. But whatever we were, it's gone." Her chin trembled. "I know." I walked away first because staying would have broken something inside me all over again. Hours later, Victor called. "The inquiry is moving," he said. "Daniel's partners want explanations." I nodded. "Let them dig." Zoe came beside me and asked, "Did you get closure?" I shook my head. "No, but I got clarity." She asked softly, "And resolve?" I exhaled. "More than ever." As I looked at the city lights flickering like warning signs, I whispered, Your empire's cracking, Daniel. And this time, I'm not the one who's falling. Chapter 8, The Reckoning and the Offer. The inquiry's results dropped like a hammer the next morning. Daniel stood in the conference room with a stiff smile when the panel read the findings. Forced resignations, one member said. Immediate return of misallocated funds, another added. I watched his jaw twitch. After the meeting, he cornered me near the elevators. Ethan, we can work this out, he said. I can issue a public apology. I can settle privately. You come back, accept a promotion, and help me fix things. I stared at him. Fix the mess you made? He lowered his voice. You know the system. People fall. People rise. I'm offering you stability. I said, you're offering me silence. He tried again. You want power? I can give it. I shook my head. I don't want anything from you. I walked out before I lost control. Liam called instantly. Tell me you didn't take his deal. I refused, I said. He exhaled loudly. Good. Don't go soft now. I whispered. Part of me wanted to. He said, that's the wounded part. Don't let it drive. Victor summoned me later. Close the door, he said. I sat. He placed a folder in front of me. You rebuilt the branch. You proved its value under pressure. I'm offering you the CEO seat. I blinked. CEO? He nodded. You'll oversee the entire network, including Daniel's territory. My chest tightened. You want me to replace him? Victor said no. I want you to lead better than he ever did. I whispered, why me? He smiled thinly. Because you fight ugly battles without losing your spine. Zoe knocked on my door that night. I heard, she said. I asked, are you staying or leaving again? She stepped in. I stayed because I believed you could be better than the anger you carry. I sank into a chair. I crossed lines. Yes, she said, but you came back. That matters. I looked at her. I don't know what I'm turning into. She touched my shoulder. Someone who learns. Later Marcus called. I talked to Mia, he said. She finally broke. What did she say? I asked. He sighed. Fear. That's what drove her. Fear of failing. Fear of disappearing. Fear of not being enough. I rubbed my forehead. She chose the wrong escape. Marcus replied, she knows that. She hates herself for it. I don't know what to feel, I said. He answered, then feel nothing for now. I found Mia waiting near my car that evening. Can we talk? She asked. I leaned on the door. What now? Marcus told you. She whispered. I nodded. Fear ruins people, Ethan. It ruined me. Fear didn't make you betray me, I said. She cried softly. No, I made those choices, and I regret them every day. I looked away. Regret doesn't rebuild anything. Do you hate me? She asked. I shook my head. No, I'm just done letting the past steer me. When she left, I stood alone, staring at the city lights. My mind churned. Liam called again. You taking the CEO job? I don't know, I said. You earned it, he replied. Don't let trauma decide. I whispered. What if power turns me into him? It won't, Liam said. Unless you let it. Sophia, email me a simple line. Lead clean. We trust you. I stared at it for minutes. I finally sat at my desk and whispered. Revenge is complete. Now what? The question echoed. Power was in my hands, real and dangerous. I pictured Daniel's defeated face, Zoe's steady eyes, Mia's tears, my mother's voice. I whispered, I will not become what I fought. And for the first time, I believed I could choose. I stood there breathing in the stillness, telling myself I had reached a turning point I never expected to survive. Liam's voice echoed in my memory, urging me to claim the future instead of the pain. Zoe's faith steadied me, and Sophia's trust reminded me of every person who believed I might lead differently. I whispered that I would rise with clean hands, and as the city pulsed outside my window, I felt resolve take root like something solid and new before the night. Chapter 9. Being the one who stays. When Victor handed me the contract, he said, You're the CEO now? Lead clean. I stared at the pages. If I take this, I said, I need rules, transparency, fair pay, no shortcuts. Ever. He nodded. Your company. Your terms. I signed slowly, feeling the weight settle on my shoulders. Then we rebuild the right way. Liam burst into my office minutes later. Tell me it's true, he said. It's true, I replied. He grinned. Finally, you earned this. I handed him a folder. I want you as operations lead. His eyes widened. Me? You kept me steady, I said. I trust you. He laughed. Damn, man. I won't let you down. I know. I called Sophia next. Come to my office, I said. She arrived with nervous hands. Did I do something wrong? I slid a contract across the desk. You're hired permanently. Full benefits. Better pay. Her breath hitched. Why me? You saw what others ignored, I said. You protected people quietly. That matters. She whispered, thank you. No, I replied. Thank you for staying when things were falling apart. Zoe entered without knocking. So, she said, crossing her arms, you're the boss now. I smiled. Apparently. She sat down. You scared? A little. Good, she said. Fear keeps you honest. I leaned forward. I want you as my strategic director. Her eyebrows lifted. You serious? Completely. She looked away for a moment, fighting emotion. I stayed because I believed you wouldn't let revenge reshape you into him. I said softly, I'm trying every day. She nodded. Then I'm with you. When the first pay cycle hit, I approved raises. When departments asked for shortcuts, I said, no, we do things correctly. It felt strange leading from a place of steadiness instead of hunger. Still, late nights reminded me of everything I lost. Some wounds didn't close cleanly. My phone rang during a quiet morning. Mia. I picked up. What do you want? She breathed shakily. I heard everything. The inquiry. Your promotion. I said nothing. She whispered, I'm proud of you. I replied, that's not yours to say anymore. She paused. I know. I also know I hurt you in ways you didn't deserve. I closed my eyes. Why are you calling? I want forgiveness, she said. Not a second chance. Just forgiveness. I exhaled slowly. I don't hate you. I won't punish you. But I can't let you back in. She cried softly. I understand. I hope you find peace, I said. You too, she whispered, then ended the call. Later that afternoon, I heard my assistant say, Daniel Brooks is on the line. I almost didn't answer, but I pressed the button. Ethan, Daniel said, voice hollow. How does it feel? Winning. I leaned back. Winning isn't the point. He scoffed. Then what is? Conscience, I said. Something you never cared for. He went silent. I continued. Power means nothing if you can't sleep at night. He asked, do you feel better now that I've fallen? No, I said. I feel older. He exhaled weakly. I never thought you'd be the one to beat me. I didn't beat you, I replied. Your choices did. He whispered goodbye, Ethan, and the line died. That evening, I drove home to see my mother. She opened the door and gasped. You look tired, sweetheart. I hugged her. Long few months. She cupped my face gently. Are you finally okay? I nodded. I think so. She led me to the table. Tell me everything. So I did. Quietly. Honestly. Without drama. She listened without interrupting, her eyes softer than I'd seen in years. When I finished, she said, I'm proud of you, Ethan. Her voice trembled, fragile and real. I swallowed hard. I needed to hear that. She squeezed my hand. You stayed kind through everything. That matters more than success. I reached into my jacket and pulled out an envelope. This is for you, I said. She frowned. What is it? Open it. She slid out the check and covered her mouth. Ethan, this is too much. It's my first real bonus, I said. I wanted you to have it. Tears filled her eyes instantly. You don't owe me anything. I know, I whispered. That's why I'm giving it. She stepped toward me and held my face like she used to when I was a boy. You made something of yourself without losing your heart. That's all a mother hopes for. I hugged her tightly. Thank you for staying when everything else fell apart. She whispered into my shoulder. You stayed too, my love. You became the one who remains. That night, I sat outside on her porch, listening to the quiet hum of the neighborhood. I whispered to myself, I still wake with aches. I still remember what I lost. But I'm not broken anymore. The stars look close enough to touch. I'm the one who shows up now, I said softly. The one who stays. And for the first time in years, I felt like I had arrived exactly where I was meant to be.